Recognizes the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Fulcher, for 5 minutes for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'll give Ms. Sweeney a heads up that I'm going to be asking her for a lessons learned question here. But before I do, I just want to set up the reason I'm asking that question as a bit of history. So in Idaho, the Stibnite mining district became active during World War I, 1914 to 1918, for extracting antimony and tungsten. These minerals were critical for munitions and weapons manufacturing. During World War II, Stibnite became the largest domestic supplier of antimony and provided 90% of domestic antimony used in the U.S. war effort. Following the war, demand for these minerals declined sharply, and today, in 2025, if you can believe it, the United States has no domestic antimony mine. So Stibnite Gold Project, located in Idaho, aims to reestablish domestic antimony production. Once operational, it's projected to supply up to 35% of the antimony demand in the first 6 years, strengthening national security and reducing dependence on foreign sources. Until recently, China accounted for over 50 to 60% of global antimony production, and the Chinese government banned exports of antimony, gallium, and germanium to the U.S. This intensified the urgency to restore domestic supply, and antimony trisulfide from Stibnite remains the only known domestic source capable of meeting the U.S. Department of Defense needs for small arms, munitions, and missiles. So fast forward to now. In April of 25, just a month ago, Stibnite Gold Project, operated by Perpetua, was designated as a priority project by the Trump administration in response to the worsening critical mineral crisis. After entering the formal federal permitting process in 2016, the project achieved a major milestone 2 days ago, just here, May 19, in federal permitting when it received its final federal authorization, Section 404 Clean Water Act permit from the U.S. Corps of Engineers. Now, with all that history, I just want to ask you, Ms. Sweeney, from your vantage point, what are the lessons learned from this project? I know this is not the only one that has gone through similar types of processes. Just like to get your vantage point. What's the lesson learned we can use from this?
So I think there are several lessons to be learned here, and thank you for the question. I think the first one is really highlighting the importance of byproduct material. So antimony is going to be a byproduct of the gold production. So if the gold production were not economic, that antimony would not be mined at all. Secondly, the permitting process clearly took a very long time for Perpetua when they really were actively going out there and cleaning up nearby old mine tailings and mine sites while they were trying to move forward. They were trying to do everything in the right way. The third is the need for litigation reform because this project is being litigated. And one of the issues that is being raised is one that could be addressed by Congress through the Mining Regulatory Clarity Act, which I know has received some bipartisan support right here in the House.
Thank you for that. I think, if I understand it correctly, although the permit was initiated in 2016, it's been about an 18-year process.
Absolutely, it's really, and they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars just to get to the point of putting in their permit for approval.
Yeah, Mr. Hergo, did I pronounce that correctly?
In my last year in the Trump administration, as his permitting lead, flew out there, toured the site with Governor Little, and it's important to keep in mind that the lost revenue, the cost, is going to prevent the tax revenue that will be generated from that project in the out years because of how much money it's losing on the front end. But it's important to point out that mining is entirely supported by private capital, unlike the rest of the world. Had Perpetua then Midas not put the money at risk on a legacy site that is going to give us better environmental outcomes than if they had done nothing, it's important to keep in mind that project much like many of the other brownfield projects in the country, are going back to legacy mines from World War II, fixing them, restoring hydrological resources, and leaving it better than when they got there. And Perpetuate doesn't get enough credit for that.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'm out of time. However, I'm going to send Mr. Hertgo a follow-up question having to do with the role of land management agencies, and I'd like to get your input on that as well. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.